Welcome to Our View, the podcast, where we're changing the conversation about disability one story at a time. Here at Our View, we're all about education, awareness, and shifting perspectives. With each episode, we dive into honest, meaningful conversations with individuals from across the disabled community, amplifying voices, sharing lived experiences, and challenging the way society sees disability. Because disability isn't a limitation, it's a part of the human experience. So pull up a seat and join us as we broaden the view and bring real, powerful stories into focus. This is Our View. I would like to welcome everyone back to a new episode of the Our View podcast. I'm your host, Arthur Aston, and I am happy to welcome my guest, Tess Cheng, to the podcast. Tess, thank you for joining me today. I'm happy to have you.
Thank you, Arthur. It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me on your show.
Yes, we talked a little bit before we started recording, and I'm recording this in New Jersey. For those of you who are watching this on our YouTube channel, I'm in a sweatshirt, and Tess is in a tank top because she's in sunny, beautiful Miami.
Yeah.
And it's 11 degrees here in New Jersey, so I am a bit jealous.
Well, I would just say it's warm here.
Yes.
But I won't let you know exactly how warm it is. But warm enough for you to actually be outside in a t-shirt.
Yes. So again, thank you for joining me today for this episode. Looking forward to sharing your story with everyone. And to start off, can you share with the audience a little bit about yourself and some things you would like us to know about your story?
Yeah. So I'm a health and wellness coach. As Arthur says, I'm based in Miami. I help people and organizations to build lifestyle changes to improve their health that will serve them both professionally and personally. I believe that all aspects of lifestyle matter when it comes to health, your well-being. So we are talking about exercise, diet, stress management, sleep, and social connection. And accountability, guidance, come into a huge part of what I do. That really makes a difference, when you have someone to work with you, to come up with something that's sustainable for your lifestyle. Because we're all unique, we have different preferences, different cultural backgrounds, so one size doesn't fit all. So it has to be customized, and at the same time, motivation also is very important, because change is hard. We especially when we get comfortable with what we enjoy, what we like, but at the same time, health is a journey that one gets on. And when you discover, what actually makes you feel good every day, what gives you the energy, is powerful.
Yes, that is so true. Change is hard. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And I like that all of the things that you address, including sleep and and exercise, and how it all relates together, and into our well-being of who we are as people and how we function personally and professionally. And it's, it all has a great impact on who we are as people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
So, and getting to know you, through I have a form that all the guests fill out, and so in that you talked about how you've been by your sister's side as she lives with a disability now as a result of a stroke. Can you talk about how that experience has helped shape you into the person you are today, and did that help lead you into the profession that you have today?
Well, I was already practicing coaching, but unfortunately, over 2 years ago, I still remember that day very clearly. A week before Christmas, my sister was rushed into hospital because as she collapsed at work, and they found that she had a hemorrhagic stroke. So they had to give her, um, she had to operate on her. She had a brain bleed, so they had to operate on her immediately. And after the operation, unfortunately, she lost her mobility on the left side of her body. Um, and so she ended up being in a wheelchair. She lost a bit of her speech as well, but fortunately, she's recovered in that area. But to this day, she still hasn't regained her full mobility, and she needs care all the time. And she has to be in a wheelchair. She's going from one place to another. Um, and it's just heartbreaking. And what I've learned is that, first of all, unfortunately, her blood pressure wasn't being managed um, properly, and so that led to the stroke. And so prevention is really key to health. That is just so important, because a lot of these diseases don't develop overnight. They don't just suddenly happen. She probably had high blood pressure for a very long time, and unfortunately it wasn't being managed with medication or lifestyle changes. It led to the stroke. And but working with being with her and giving her the support, it makes me realize that resilience is so important. When you have an illness like that, and adaptability. You have to adapt. You have to adapt to all the changes. Suddenly, your life is different overnight. But the support everyone's giving her, and my family, I think it's really made her recovered in terms of her speech. Her mental health is all, it's not completely there, because there was a there was a big thing that happened to her brain. um, but now she's got her sense of humor back. She she's got hope. She's still working with a therapist, occupational therapist, on her mobility issues. And so I've learned a lot from just support, watching her, being her by her side. That is really just important. That health is not just it's not short term, it's long term. And you really have to take care of yourself. And so, yeah, so it's been life changing too, for me, and
Hmm.
for everyone in the family. And she's only in her 60s, so that's really unfortunate.
Hmm.
Just we just hope that slowly she will keep working on her mobility, and she will regain most of it back.
Yeah, I like what you said that about resiliency. Is
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing to see how people push through things and get through things, and can
Yeah.
really fight back against things that have happened, like like having a stroke,
Mm.
and having a great support system surround them is can be very helpful and beneficial to them as well.
Oh,
So
yes.
mhm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because her friends were, her co-workers were all going in there into hospital shortly after after the stroke. Would go and see her, and give her the support, and make sure that she was getting some kind of interactions.
Yes. I want to shift gears just a little
Mm.
bit. And can you talk about why you feel it is important that caregivers prioritize their own self care while they are caring for others?
That's absolutely important. Very often, caregivers forget about themselves. They neglect their own well-being, because they feel that I can't take time out. I'm taking care of someone. How can I take time out to look after myself? That's being selfish. Self-care is not selfish, and it's not a luxury. When you don't take care of your own health, very often that might lead to stress, burnout, and even health issues. And if you fall ill, then you don't, you are not able, you're not in the have the capacity to look after someone else. And that's why it's so important to take time out and have the breaks, even just going for a quick walk, make sure you get adequate sleep, you're eating properly, because sometimes it's easy to forget about getting enough nutrition, when you are taking care of someone, looking after their well-being. But all those things are important. You have to keep those things in mind, and make sure you get enough movement, and manage your stress level. That's all very important, because otherwise, you know you can't pour from an empty cup.
Yes, I was just thinking that same thing.
Yes.
I was just thinking that same thing. And
Yeah.
it's like you said, you worry about you're a caregiver for someone else, and you worry about that other person. But
Mm.
then in the meantime, you know, you can't forget to eat yourself or sleep or move, like you said, moving your body and
Yeah.
keeping active. Those are all things you have to remember for yourself as well, as a caregiver, to keep your own health and well-being, together, and keeping yourself healthy is, so important. So as you said, you can't pour from an empty cup. So it's,
No, no, we are not machines.
no, we
Yeah,
definitely are not. We
no.
definitely are not.
And the better we take care of ourselves, the better we can take care of other people.
Hmm. Yes. Oh, that's really good. So
Mm.
simple, but so good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That-
So with the work that you do, can you share what are some common myths about your profession
mm.
that you would like to take a moment to clear up?
Yeah. Well, we have a lot of things I will talk about,
Yes.
but I will talk about this particularly, this myth that people feel that health coaching is just about telling people what to do, but that's not true. Health coaching is more about giving people guidance, support, accountability, and personalized strategies. It's actually helping people come up with some strategy, something sustainable that they can fit in their lifestyle, especially in their busy lifestyle these days. We're all very busy with our work, with our family lives. So what I do is to actually work with my clients and find give them some tools, and we come up together with strategies that they would say, okay, I can work around this, with my work, I can fit this in, and when I'm traveling, I can do this as well. And very much that's what health coaching is really about. It's not about rigid rules or quick fixes, because those things are just not sustainable. And it has to be a lifestyle, and it has to be something that you feel at ease doing, on a constant basis.
Yes, it's a long-term thing, an ongoing, um,
Yeah.
and consistency with it is definitely key. And it's I like that you brought that up. That it's not just you telling somebody
Yeah, no,
what to
no.
do.
No, it's not. Because if that's the way it is, then it would be very different. But if I tell you this is, I gave you a whole list of things to do, but then you say, but that's not how, that doesn't fit in with my daily routine. I mean, how am I going to work around this? And eventually you would just give it up. You just say, this is not working for me.
Right. Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
personalized and individual for each individual. So it's
Yeah.
just and that makes sense when you think about it, because every person is their own person. Like they,
Yeah.
everybody does things differently, and we eat different things, and
Mm-hmm.
thinking of myself as a person with a physical disability, I move
Mm.
differently, so my movements
Yeah.
have to be different. So, something that you may tell someone who doesn't have my disability to do as far as movements or exercises go,
Mm.
they would have to look different for somebody like myself. So
Correct.
so it is a very personalized thing. And, for somebody like yourself in that profession, like um, I think I would enjoy being in that profession because it forces you to be creative and to think of
Yeah.
different things for every person that you're working with. So that's
Exactly.
yeah. So it keeps your job new and fresh. With
Yeah.
every person you're working with. So that's really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. Even when
Hmm.
I'm out myself in different situations, so I look around and think, oh, I think about my clients and I think, oh, if they're in this situation, what would they be doing? How they can get around the problem, or when they're traveling somewhere or at a conference, at a
Hmm.
business meeting, how can they go about increasing the movement? They obviously sitting down a lot,
Right.
but then maybe they can use the stairs, don't
Yes.
use the
Instead of the
escalators.
right. Right. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is. It does. It forces you to be creative, to think of different things to meet the needs of those of the people you're working with
hmm
and their abilities that they things that they're able to do.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So my last question for
Mm,
you, which is a different question. I don't know if I've ever asked this question on the podcast before, but
mm.
I found it and thought it would be interesting to ask. So that is there one question that you wish I had asked you that I didn't? And how would you
All
answer
right.
that question?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that question, so it
Yeah.
gives me a chance.
Yes.
Um, the question I would like you to have asked me would be, what's the most important factor in sustainable lifestyle changes?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So what is the answer to that question?
Um, the most important thing I think is actually shifting your mindset.
Wow.
It's not about, it's more than, health is more than about what you eat, how you move, how much sleep you get.
Mhm.
It's really about, the real transformation takes place internally. And so when you shift your mindset, then you look at health very differently. You look at changing your habits very differently. Then this way you are more open to ideas, more open to change because you make a commitment to get healthier. And then everything you do, you'll be looking at it, thinking, oh, um, this is a way to get to improve my health, my life, and maybe by going to work, going to a gym more, it is better for me rather than thinking,
Mhm.
oh, I don't feel like going. I would rather be doing something else because then suddenly health is at the forefront of your mind, and
Mhm.
everything that helps with it becomes positive. Then you look at setbacks, differently, and they become like lessons that you can learn from. You become more flexible, and yeah. So it's all about progress. So you don't just fix on perfection. You just
Mhm.
take one step at a time. It's not all or nothing, and consistency, and you see that, you know how you can just keep consistency, and there are days maybe you think, oh, I really don't feel like going to the gym. I really want to have a cookie. um, but you give yourself that permission because you say, fine, but I'm making a conscious decision this time. It's not just thinking, oh, I'm completely out of control. I'm just going to eat whatever. You say, okay, today I will give myself a cookie, and tomorrow I'll be good again. So it's really in the mind, and I think when people realize that, everything becomes a lot easier.
Yes. Now, the very interesting thing about that, the answer to that question, uh, you're the second episode of the podcast that I'm recording today, and
Mm,
Itzia, the woman I interviewed before you, whose episode will be before this one,
mm,
is a public and motivational speaker, and I asked
mm.
what topics she enjoys talking about most, and she said how people shift their mindset.
Oh,
So
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it's really our minds are so powerful. I think we underestimate as to, how much control we have.
Yes.
So rather than, allowing the environments to distract us, we
Mhm.
we can actually stay focused.
Yes. Yeah, that is so cool that you said the same thing. That's so awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Tess, thank you so much for this conversation. Just to talk, I think just with everything, and this is something I share on a lot of podcasts. Everybody has some type of challenge in life
Mm,
that they face. If you haven't
yes.
faced a challenge, live long enough, you will you will see them come up.
Yeah.
And it just a way that we can change our lifestyle and
Mm,
focus on the things that we do to improve our health can be very beneficial. For people with and without disabilities, just
yes.
everybody that is living. We can all work on our mindset and see how we face different things, and and how if we don't address them in a positive way, how the negativity
Yes.
can have a negative impact on our lives. So
Oh, yes.
I think it's really important to have this conversation, and uh, also the piece for caregivers.
Yes.
Whether you're parents or a sibling, or
Mm,
just a friend, or anyone who is caring for other people, and not necessarily someone who has a disability. It's just we
yeah.
care for those we love, and
Yes.
sometimes it can be overwhelming.
Mm,
So just that one reminder of self care is not being selfish,
mm,
um, or it's not a luxury or something like that. It could just be something simple to remember to eat or to get a good night's sleep
yes.
for yourself. That
Yes.
can really make a big difference.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
Very much
thank
so.
you. Yeah, thank you so much for this conversation. I really enjoyed speaking with you, and
Thank
meeting
you.
you
Yes.
virtually.
Yeah, definitely. If the listeners want some inspiration, feel free to go on
Yes.
my website and sign up for the monthly newsletter because I always have some tips to give to people about what they can do to improve their health.
Yes, and what is your website?
My website is glowwithtess.com with one W, so it's glowithtess.com. And Glow with Tess is also the same, is the handle I have on all the social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. So you can find me on those platforms as well.
Great. That is great. And again, thank you so much for this conversation.
Thank you, Arthur.
You're welcome. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Our View, the podcast, where we amplify the voices and stories of those in the disabled community, one conversation at a time. If this story moved you, taught you something new, or sparked a different perspective, we'd love to hear from you. Write a review of the podcast on Apple Podcasts, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. Follow us on all social media platforms at Our View for Life 25. At Our View, we believe that disability is not a limitation. It is a powerful part of the human experience. So until next time, keep listening, keep learning, and keep seeing the world through our view.